for me, to be poor in spirit means literally saying that we need to be poor, or that we are beggars. When you are a beggar and you don't have something to eat or something to dress, whatever the people can give you, you just accept that, and with a humble heart. And for me, this means that we need to be poor in the way that we are humble.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. So when I think about this verse, I think about the times when I would mourn. In those moments where I see myself falling into temptation, I think to myself, why am I like this? How come I'm falling over and over and over again? And I also know that it's not something that will bring happiness or joy to God as well. And the most times when I mourn is about family evangelism, because throughout the 6 years that I've been saved, and throughout the attempts that I've made, it just seemed like there was no change or no progress. And knowing their eternal fate of eternal destruction, and the fact that they're not accepting the gospel, is what truly brings me tears and pain each and every time. And so for my family at least, the verse in Acts chapter 16, verse 31, where it says, "Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved, you and your household." So by having faith in this verse, and by having trust and hope and relying on the promises of Jesus, I feel comforted, I feel strengthened. And I know that although there may be times where I am tearing up, or at times where I'm mourning, Jesus will keep his promise until the end.
One of the things that I define meekness, based on how I saw some of the brothers and sisters, is being obedient in what it was given to them, despite its difficulties or any issues and concerns. For example, sometimes I see a lot of brothers and sisters, like the church, request something from them, even though it's a huge responsibility and it's something that, in their perspective, it's not a responsibility that they can fulfill, yet they still obey without any hesitation. So more of like submission. And I think it comes with humbleness as well. And what it means is that even though you yourself lack the potential or the strength or the ability to do something for God, yet you're still trusting in God that He will help out and He will lead and guide, and obeying despite the difficulties or lack of ability is probably what defines meekness, is my thought.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. I feel like sometimes I lose that characteristics of being hungry and thirsty for righteousness. Sometimes I find myself being hungry and thirsty for the things of the world, or to fulfill my fleshly desires. those times when I'm hungry and thirsty for righteousness, like God fills me with things that I can't even describe in words, or things that cannot be compared to things of the world. And I know how great that is, and I know how great that feels like. But then I think sometimes I don't have that characteristics of hunger and thirst for righteousness.
I guess love and mercy is something that is very important as a born-again Christian, and I feel like I was shown that at a very young age, growing up within church school. Right? I feel like my past teachers were able to show me that and give me that experience of what it means to kind of be loved, and that idea of mercy, to have mercy, right? And just thinking about that, just having that experience, I think that is one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to be a teacher, and just to be able to give that same experience to my students, and to be able to sacrifice my time and my efforts to be able to help these students grow within the church, since they are the future of our church. So yeah, I think just overall, I just wanted to give that same experience.
Pure in heart means to me a person who believes in the promises of God. It's a person who looks at the righteousness of God rather than their own righteousness. Because we ourselves don't have any righteousness of our own. So, even though we don't have any righteousness of our own, being able to, a person who's able to look at the righteousness of God and put their faith in that righteousness, that person is able to be pure in heart. Like, what separates a Christian from a non-believer? It's not that we're righteous, or it's not that we are good in any way. But why are we considered to be pure in heart? Like, why does God look at us like we are pure? That we are righteous is because we have faith in those promises. That's the only difference between us.
So before we were saved, we're enemies with God. And Jesus first became our peacemaker by reconciling our relationship with God. Through his sacrifice on the cross, by shedding of the blood, he has saved us, and that became reconciliation between me and God. And after receiving salvation, now we can become followers of Jesus by becoming peacemaker ourselves. And we can become peacemaker by spreading the gospel, spreading the cross, and saving souls. And that makes reconciliation between that person and God. And our job as Christians is to continue to preach the gospel and become a peacemaker by reconciling the relationship with God and man. And we can do that by spreading the gospel. I believe that is the peacemaking as Christians.
After I was saved, I became like a whole new person, born again. I was seeking after the word and seeking after more fellowship or more time just to be involved with the church and brothers and sisters. And this whole time that I changed from being the person of this world to being someone who followed God in my Christian life, my family sat me down one day and said that they felt ignored, they felt judged by me. We're just being in the same room just because of my religion and how I did not have time to take a part with them as well. They stated that I wasn't considered to be part of the family since my religion was mostly what I was seeking after. I kept my Christian lifestyle. I stayed strong because I knew that the persecution was not them talking from their souls, but it was them speaking of not knowing the true gift of God.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 to 16. And seeing the multitudes, he went up on a mountain, and when he was seated, his disciples came to him. Then he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you, and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you.